From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big morning of early mornings LALATE as your $3.5 trillion recon passes in a House Budget Committee on Saturday night. By Monday, negotiations continue, and by Tuesday, negotiations continued as well. The latest on those two meetings that happened Monday night and Tuesday midday, and it's all deliciousness. Guess what? Cluster number one's checks got in there, passed. Cluster number two's checks got in there, passed. Cluster number three's checks got in there and passed. And also, what's exciting, great news, is that the progressives are protecting your recon. And progressives AOC Omar, Jalapal, and Sanders confirmed to viewers in just the last few days that they're still inserting that monthly IRS stimulus check. What about Ron Wyden? He says he's inserting a provision on the Senate side to extend unemployment benefits. Yeah, you heard me right on that one. Oh boy. And guess what? The progressives stepped up and said, if you try to mess with our recon, we're going to mess with your bipartisan. You know, it's sort of like West Side Story, but just not with as good a dancing as, because the congressional leaders, they really can't dance. It's West Side Story. It's the progressives versus the moderate Democrats. Boy, it's getting very dramatic. And guess what? The news cycle changed 3 times yesterday throughout the day. Now, as we go into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, it will literally change on the hour by the hour. But I got all the details, because you know I will, because this is an early morning broadcast. And it starts right now as the toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee is brewing and West Side Story is playing. And this is Early Mornings LA. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and thank you for joining me for Early Mornings LA. The weather has been spectacular here in Santa Monica, California. I hope the weather is good for you where you are. Jump on the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. It's going to be a big couple days, folks, all the way till Friday in your Forced Stimulus Check Update of 2021. The Forced Stimulus Check Update of 2021 took a fascinating twist on Saturday as your $3.5 trillion recon passed in the subcommittee of the House. Then on Monday, a major key meeting. Tuesday midday, another key meeting. Oh boy, expect several meetings today and then a potential vote on Thursday. But for what? And will it pass or will it fail? Wow. Then we have the debt ceiling limit for Friday. We got, Taco Tuesday. We got 2-for-1 on Friday. We got just a lot of stuff going on in this recording. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Boy, it is something like now when you need to tune into this channel, because on Saturday night, a $3.5 trillion recon passed. I was the only one that recorded any notion of this even passing. Broadcast media didn't even cover it. Print media never covered it. YouTube channels never covered it. Then 2 critical meetings, one Monday night, one Tuesday midday. One print media covered them, and the rest, broadcast media never even mentioned they existed. And no one on YouTube, I don't think they ever knew it. I don't even think they knew it happened. So I want you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. The next few days is a mass of major twists and turns by the hour. It is more dramatic than Days of Our Lives in its best years. So subscribe. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to the details right now. On Saturday night at middle of the evening, a $3.5 trillion recon passed the House Budget Committee. That recon, you notice I'm not using the word bill at the end. Why? Because it's not a bill. It's a markup of the bill. And immediately after it passed, Nancy Pelosi actually had really good comments about it, and so did the president, saying it's not a bill because it's a markup of a bill. It says bill, and guess what? We can still put more things in there. And that's why I'm very careful just to call it the recon, but not recon bill. Well, what happened thereafter? Everything that's in that passed on Saturday is cluster number 1, passed. Cluster number 2, passed. Cluster number 3, passed. What happened since Monday, even through today, is that the Democrat progressives that have been saying to you, they're giving you a monthly stimulus check IRS, are still saying it, but in future tense, adding it in, amending it in. Very good news. They also said that last Friday. Then we have Ron Wyden saying, I'm going to be adding in He's a Democratic senator, remember? I'm going to be adding in an extension of unemployment benefits. Yeah, you heard me right. Pelosi saying if people want to add stuff in, tell me I want to add stuff in. In fact, she says she wants to add in the stimulus checks. But then critical meetings on Tuesday midday. Oh, boy. I mean, insane dramatics you've never seen before. They're coming up in this video. And then the big dramatics on Monday night. But let's first go over the checks. First, cluster one, number one, got in there. It's important to remember the recon has nothing to do with the pandemic, so it's life going forward. That's why it's called the Build Back Better Act. All right, cluster number one got in there. Hazard pay, money for seniors, money for children, money for the home, cars, trucks, vehicles, and college students. Let's go over all the credible details, starting with hazard pay. This channel's been the single biggest advocacy for hazard pay on this channel since day one. Nearly 500 videos on this channel in 2020. They got it in there. They took the earned income tax credit, an old tax code, and modified it so more people qualify as an essential worker every year, and then expanded its eligibility so you get paid more money. Then they're going to pay up to $4,000 a year if you care for an elderly person. Huge. On the other side, up to $4,000 a year if you care for a young child. College students, they got money in there. 3 types of grants, one to the university, one to them, and also making the Pell's grant tax-free. How about the home? Yes, if you live in a low-income community, they will provide you checks to repair the home. Great news. And then $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks got in there, MSCs. This is the CTC, the child tax credit, modified. They modify it deliciously so that parents that are not biological get these payments as well, because originally it was only for parents that are biological or relatives that are biological. How much does it pay? A lot, up to $300 a month. Every month that household is low income. So, for example, let's say the child was just born, then you would get $300 every month, every year, up to 18 years, which is $51,000 a child. Wow. Then they got money in there for cars, trucks, bikes, all electric, and if they're U.S. auto manufacturer. Let's go over all the details. Up to 15% for the electric bike. Up to $3,700 for the electric vehicle if it's personal use, and a little bit more if it's business use, and then for the electric truck as well. Well, there we go. That's the first cluster. We got 2 more clusters of checks coming up in a second. They got in there. Cluster number 2, pass. Cluster number 3, pass. And then I'll be going to the IRS MSC checks as well. But let's just take a detour over to the third stimulus. This is a big surprise. As additional $13 billion laying in cities, counties, and states for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. Janet Yellen, she's a smart cookie, and she understood that the debt ceiling limit was looming. So she got this money out last week for you. Bless her soul. Treasury's happy to provide Americans, these state and local governments, with these additional resources to help Americans in need of rental assistance. I'll be going over that later in this video. But first, let's cut back now to that second cluster of checks. 12 of them, deliciousness, and big payments across the board. The first ones are paid family leave and paid medical leave. Family leave, you have to stay home because the wife's pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because the child broke his leg. How much does it pay? A fortune. $70,000 or more per year, $800 a week. Under $1,700 a week. Under third stimulus. $35,000 a year, then let's split in half. $800 a week. Let's split in half again. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. Wow. There are no less than 12 checks in the second cluster, and their deliciousness. Child care programs checks. Expansion of the household tax credit checks. Checks for Medicare expansion, including dental, vision, hearing, checks for elderly, Medicare eligibility. More about that in the third cluster. Then weatherizing your home. Yes, another check for the home. Weatherizing your home, especially if you have purple hawks on the roof. And you're Fox News, and that's your roof. Yeah. So they're going to have checks to weatherize the home, like fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And then educational checks, more in there as well. Tuition pre-kindergarten. Great. And then tuition-free community college. Definitely needed, because a lot of people are taking that very popular foreign language class called What the World is LA Saying? 101. It's for people who want to talk Los Angeles, because it's a different language. It's a totally different language. It's just talking about kale salad all the time. Kale salad, kale salad, kale salad. Yeah, now you can take that class. In a second, we'll be cutting over to the third cluster. They pass them as well, and also the IRS MSC checks. But let's cut to what is Congress doing? What is Congress doing? Well, we got 3 bodies of legislation. We have the roads and bridges, also called infrastructure, also called bipartisan. We have your recon, and then we have the debt ceiling limit. Congress is literally having meetings every 4 hours on the hour, among specifically the House Democrats. There was a critical meeting on a Monday night. There was a critical meeting midday Tuesday. And the angst, the level of stress The level of dramatics, the quotes between Monday night and Tuesday evening look like it went from the Vatican to Games of Thrones. It just it just went from like, passive to just like, oh my God, my fangs, are they showing yet? Yeah, it's deliciousness, because guess who had the fangs? The people who are protecting your recon. Wow. I'll go over more about that coming up in a second, because it's all great news and it is fascinating stuff. It's regarding the vote. But first, let's cut to the third cluster checks. They got in their pass. Cluster number 3's checks, wow. These are huge. These are the checks that the president wants in there, and they got in there. Checks for free school meals for all, checks. Checks for cheaper prescription medication. Checks for farmers. Checks for free internet. Checks for green energy. Checks for workers like independent contractors. Checks for Medicare expansion, like lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. Checks for dental. Checks for vision. Checks for hearing care. Well, you're only going to hear on this channel because most of the stuff you're not going to hear anywhere else or something, LALATE, which is there's $107 billion coming to you out of the third cluster. What happened? The Senate parliamentarian ruled one of the provisions in there can't belong. And that provision was money for judiciary, not for you. Well, I went back in my notes and I looked it up. I said, oh, it's $107 billion. So where does it have to go? It has to go to you. Wow. 2 types of checks in this third cluster the president likes, and I like, because they're automatic. One of them is cheaper prescription medication. Let's say you go to the pharmacy today and pay for something. Take 2 $20 bills out of your wallet. Pay for it. This becomes law. You go to refill the prescription. You may only have to take 1 $20 bill out of your wallet and save another $20 on your bill in your pocket. Yeah, incredible, great news. Then they give free internet to every city, county, and state, rich, poor, red, blue. So all you have to do is say, hi, I live here. Oh, you do? I have not met you. Well, what's the username and password for the free Wi-Fi? Oh, the username is Blaine66, and the password is Scarf101. There we go. Well, in the second half of this video, we got a lot of dramatics heating up. But first, let me go to the dramatics that happened on those meetings. And boy, there were some meetings. There were meetings on Monday night. There were meetings on Tuesday midday. There were not less than 2 meetings on midday Tuesday. And one meeting was upset about the other meeting. What's going on? I'll go over all the incredible details of this. But here's what you need to know, is that even as we go in today, we had confirmation from Bernie Sanders' office yesterday that he is adding in a provision about a monthly stimulus check IRS. We had confirmation from AOC Omar Jalapal's office, all progressives, all House, all Democrats, telling viewers this channel since Friday that they are still adding it in there. Keywords, key verb tense, is future tense, adding in, providing, amending, adding an amendment, all future tense, which is consistent with what Pelosi said. Pelosi said on Saturday night that, yeah, we passed a recon out of the House Budget Committee, but it's not a final bill because I still want to hear from people if they want to add some stuff. And as Mark, Dragon, Paul, and other people this channel, Lynn Glenn, have gotten confirmation from Pelosi's office that she wants to add this provision in as well. It's all incredible, great news. I'll have more about the dramatics of those 2 meetings, what this means for you. We'll be going over more about that monthly stimulus check IRS. We'll be cutting over the third stimulus, the debt ceiling limit, and more. We got a lot coming up. It's an extended broadcast with a lot of breaking news. The details come on and up as Early Mornings LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. It's a big early morning LA Late, and I'm excited you're joining me because there are big dramatics on those meetings about your recon, a $3.5 trillion recon, Tuesday, Monday night, and will continue today. I'll go over what AOC Jalapal Omar's office tells viewers about that monthly stimulus check. I'll go over what Kuhn, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden's office are still telling viewers. We'll be cutting to the big dramatics of 3 potential items for voting in the same period of no less than 5 days. We'll be going over what the president's doing, Pelosi's doing, and what the progressives are doing. And then the goth gang? Yeah, get your black eyeliner out. It's time to go over the goth gang. Yeah, new cast of characters. I just love cast of characters. They just sort of come in for a few episodes and then leave. I just wish the goth gang would leave indefinitely. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. We got a lot coming up today. We got Overnight's Crypto currently playing live on this channel. And then Morning's Countdown coming up at 7 a.m. Don't miss that show. Then noon, Morning's LA live on air at 9 a.m. There were late night meetings last night. There may be late night meetings by the time early morning meetings by the time Morning's LA airs as well. So you can't miss a single video across the board. Subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right over to the surprise of Janet Yellen's brilliance in getting that money out now. Janet Yellen was smart as a Treasury Secretary to get that additional money out for third stimulus. I'm going to go over that third stimulus money in a second, but let's first turn to the big dramatics that happened about the recon. Monday night and Tuesday midday. This is what was happening Monday night. Monday night, there was a meeting among House Democrats. There are the House Progressive Democrats. There are the House Moderate Democrats. The moderates are called the Goth Gang, led by the prom creator. Yeah, the Goth guy. Then we have the Progressives, AOC, Omar, Jayalapal. What was the meeting about? The meeting was about the debt ceiling limit vote, the recon vote, and the bipartisan vote. And what did Pelosi say during that meeting? This is the Monday night one. She said, well, I'm going to separate the roads and bridges from the recon. I'm not going to have them called for a vote together. This angered a lot of people because this was absolutely a 180 reversal from what she had said 1,000 times since August. Since August, she always said they will be voted on the same time. I am not going to do the roads and bridges first. The recon will go first, all that type of stuff. She had made that deal with the Goth Gang that she'll do the infrastructure vote this week by potentially Thursday. So at the time I heard the Monday night meeting, I told viewers, I don't really care. It doesn't really impact us if the roads and bridges goes for a vote first. It doesn't impact the recon. It doesn't kill the recon at all. And I think it's much of a non-issue at all. Now, that was what she said during that meeting. She also said during that meeting Monday night is that people are still making changes to the recon. And if they want to add stuff to the recon, please add stuff to the recon. I want to know what you went in there. She made that clear to most House Democrats, like the Progressives, that want to add in that IRS monthly stimulus check. Senate Democrats, like Ron Wyden, who wants to add that extension of unemployment benefits. And even the president, who may want to add something in there as well. Not much of a dramatics in that Monday night meeting. And then came the Tuesday midday meeting. Oh boy, that was just like an extra cup of coffee. Because that Tuesday midday meeting had dramatics like I don't think I've ever seen in the history of this channel. The dramatics were all very mother hawk protectiveness type of dramatics. What happened? Basically, you had the same cluster of people. While you had in Monday night meeting what I sort of called like a food fight in the cafeteria among among high school students, when you got to the Tuesday midday meeting, it was more fangs. What was happening? The progressives were basically saying one thing, the Goth Gang saying another thing, and then Pelosi sort of sitting back and saying, uh-oh, I'm going to run for the door if it gets any more heated. What were the progressives saying? The progressives were basically saying this. We're not against the roads and bridges, but the way you've been treating roads and bridges recon and debt ceiling limit over the last 3 days, it's as though you're treating the recon like the person on the street corner that you don't even acknowledge. It's like you're treated like the long lost brother that no one knows anyone has. You're not really treating with a lot of attention. You're putting a lot of attention at the infrastructure and the debt ceiling limit, and you're not really talking about our recon. And Pelosi sort of pushed back and said, no, I am. Whatever you want to put in there, you can put in there. And guess what the progressives did? They were very reactionary to the Goth gang. The Goth gang, their position is the following. Call the vote on the roads and bridges Thursday. We're not against the recon. Just call the vote on the roads and bridges on Thursday. There's a deadline that's called the surface transportation deadline on Thursday. The progressives saying there is no such deadline. You're just making it up to sort of push yourself kind of in front of us. So what did the progressives say? The progressives basically said, you're messing with the wrong people. And there's 60 of us. We've tallied. We've counted us. We've counted how many there are. And if you do dare to cross us and call the infrastructure, roads and bridges, for a vote on Thursday, we're voting it down. We're going to blow it up. Yes, we're going to make your life miserable on Thursday. It's basically what they said. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. The level of protectiveness of this recon is very, very refreshing. Now, what's interesting about how they did this is that they didn't just say, you know what, pay more attention to us. They said, we don't trust you. Excuse me? They said, you know what, I'm protecting my recon. And if I have to go a little bit further than I need to go, I will go there. This is what one guy said, Representative Jim McGovern. My father told me when I was growing up, there's a fine line between a good guy and a darn fool. Fool, F-O-O-L. I don't want to be rolled over. I think there's a lot of us want to make assurance that we have, in fact, that there's going to be a recon bill passed. Oh, I love that. I love that. Do you love that? I think we should frame that. Then Representative Chuy Garcia, Democrat of Illinois, said, it's not a yes for the roads and bridges unless we have assurances that the recon's going to pass. Oh, I love that. Then Jalopal actually telling Pelosi and the progressives telling Pelosi that, you know what, we've already polled our Democrat progressives, and we think we have 60 of them, and they are going to block, like B-L-O-C-K, block the roads and bridges if you call for a vote on Thursday to protect our recon. Wow. Now, that was a level I had never really thought I would see them go to. We had been hearing since last Friday, where Jalopal says they don't have enough votes to pass the roads and bridges. We have been hearing since the summer, when I told you, Jalopal said, I've already pulled my Democratic progressives. We're not passing the recon. We're not passing the roads and bridges unless we're doing the recon at the same time. And then we've also had Jalopal saying, the president told us to protect the recon. I'm protecting like Fort Knox. But we never saw this level of basically saying, don't mess with me. The type of quotes that came out from that Tuesday meeting were, don't mess with my recon. You're not inherently bothering my recon, but you're treating it like a child you forgot is your own. And you're really sort of passing us off. Well, guess what? The reaction was great. The reaction from House Democrat Caucus Hakeem Jeffries upon hearing these demands from the progressives, they're not even demands. They're basically telling them their fate. We're going to kill your roads and bridges because we have enough people to kill the roads and bridges. Hakeem Jeffries says, don't worry, we're going to go over the finish line together. Yeah, he actually used my expression. On substance, the votes are there in the context of what we're trying to get accomplished. Now we're trying to figure out the pathway of getting both of these bills, recon and bipartisan, very important bills, over the finish line. Wow. Now that is huge. Now, let's turn over to the nuances of third stimulus for just a second, as I'm about to get attacked on camera. Let's go over the nuances of third stimulus for just a second. Third stimulus has that additional cash infusion of $13 billion to cities, counties, and states. And that money for rent, utilities, food, and internet is delicious. And so I'm going to go over how you get that money right now. Get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready. What's important to understand when we're talking about rent is that rent has a lot of money available for you. And the rent has gone up 200% in 30 days. The SNAP has gone up 400%, and the utilities has gone up 300%. What's going on? Get ready for all the details starting right now. When you look at the rent the viewers have gotten for this channel, it has gone from $20,000 in 30 days to now literally $40,000. What an astronomical increase. Let's look at the numbers that the Purple Hawks were getting on this channel for rent just about a month ago. Here you go. 20 to 27,000. But now Jen and other viewers are getting far in excess of 36,000, almost 400,000. Mark, remember Mark, $51,000 Mark? Well, guess what? His brother-in-law got money that shows the incredible growth across the board. First, $15,000 for utilities for Mark's brother-in-law, a 300% increase from where we were before a month ago. And then SNAP, an increase of nearly 400% to $21,000. Get that pen, paper, cell phone ready. I'm going to get you all these big sums of money right now. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different pots of money. They also have different eligibility. Number 2, I'm going to show you keywords to say. Listen to those keywords. And then finally, I want you to remember that the nonprofits are there. I'm going to go over them as well. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. And your state hall and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance, because of COVID. Mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. Let's go over the 6 places again. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. Now, here's what you need to remember is that if you're a member of this channel, nightly you get the newsletter. And in the newsletter is now that Treasury statement about the $13 billion. I want you to read that statement before you call up because I want you to know what it is. Remember, that money's everywhere. It's City Hall, City House Authority. It's everywhere. City, county, state, red, blue, rich or poor. Number 2, also utilities. Reach out to all your different utilities companies. So if you have 5, reach out to all 5. And finally, the nonprofits. Wow. First of all, 2 different nonprofits have gotten viewers refrigerators in the last 7 days from this channel. Another viewer got a furnace and also the window fix. Then one viewer says, St. Vincent de Paul approved my rent. I got funded within 24 hours. Another viewer says, I got my United Way money paid right away for rent. Let's go over all these incredible details about the nonprofits right now. They are 5 of them. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charity, St. Vincent de Paul. What's important to remember is that the nonprofits are doing things for people in totally different ways than third stimulus. For example, if you're a homeless person, they will get you into a shelter. They'll give you food if you need food. They'll give you clothing sometimes. They'll do a lot of different things across the country, different ways and different nonprofits that the federal government never does. So reach out to them. Here are the 5 places again. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Yes, they're featured in the nightly newsletter that comes from me to you on this channel if you're a member. Then, the big money for SNAP. SNAP raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rural Benefits. Oh, no. I just said that wrong. SNAP raises your benefits up starting in October. I just said that totally wrong. SNAP raises your benefits up in October, an average of 25% a lifetime. Wow, this is huge. Mark's brother-in-law going from $21,000 to $25,000. Now, let's understand what's going on here. There's 2 letters in the mail. One that says your benefits are dropping down in September, and then another letter says your benefits are going up in October. One viewer on Mornings at LALATE yesterday said, thank you, I got the second letter. Thank you for telling me there was a second letter. I didn't know. I saw the first one. I freaked out. And I got the second letter, and I'm going from $500 to $800 a month. Yeah, it's incredible. Great news. Then the unemployment benefits, those are coming back. First, the unemployment benefits back for your state due to overpayment of a computer error. It's landing anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. And then the refund check from IRS where you paid back taxes on that 2020 unemployment benefits, that is coming back. Reach out to irs.gov, do a transcript search. It's 70% of the time it works. Margaret got it, Todd got it, Michael got it as well. To anyone that has gotten any sums of money that are in the live chat, post it right now. Like Lynn Glenn, who got money, and Gail, post your success stories right now. Because when you do, you inspire other people to get these big sums of money. I want you to inspire people because guess what? I also want you to become a member. The link is under the video. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Daily members are delivered from me to them at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, the LALATE newsletter. In the newsletter is a breakdown of all the big money on a first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. Viewers have gotten $50,000, $100,000, $80,000 routinely. Johnny, $80,000. Mark, $51,000. His 2 friends getting $50,000 a pop. Johnny getting $8,000. Then his 2 family members getting over $100,000. And Lorraine getting $100,000. This big money is in there. First, second, and third for you to get. I want you to get this big money. Here's what you need to know. Make yourself your promise and make me a promise as well. I want you to get big money as far as you can in the future. I want you to get rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance as far as you can into 2022, if possible. Even if you got money before, reach out to as many different places you can get. Number two, the nonprofits are paying money now very quickly because they're not getting a lot of phone calls. It's late summer, early fall. People don't make phone calls asking for assistance just yet because it's not heating oil time. It's not bitter winter time. It's just sort of the end of the summer. People don't make calls now. Make the calls, get as much money as you can, fund it going forward. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, which will be a little bit more than 15 minutes starting right now, with all the incredible, exciting details of the $3.5 trillion recon passed. On a Saturday night, that recon passed in the subcommittee of the House. And while it's not a full bill, it is a markup that has a passage of cluster number 1, cluster number 2, and cluster number 3 checks. Over 1,000 viewers have been told by nearly a dozen House and Senate Democrats that they're including a provision in there for IRS monthly stimulus checks as well. What's important to remember is two things. One, the senators I've been reporting for nearly 2 months exclusively would vote last during a vote-a-rama. That vote-a-rama allows them the opportunity to amend and add things in. Number two, the House members that have been talking to viewers of this channel have also used the word amend or change or add into. So both sides, both House and Senate, are talking about future tense, adding things in there. That's why Pelosi made it very clear, this is not the final bill. This is not etched in stone. People are still adding things in there. And guess what? Since Friday, Democrats, senators, House have been telling viewers they're adding the IRS monthly stimulus checks in there as well. Let's go over how we got here. It was no less than 8 weeks ago where I saw tell viewers pick up the phone and advocate. And WR did. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, advocate for the inclusion of a stimulus check monthly. And Coons' office said, yes, it's going in there. Then, 3 weeks ago, I was delivering a series of exclusives on this channel. Number one, I was telling you that the House would write the legislation. I'm now correct. That the House would vote for it first. That will happen. And that the Senate would vote last. That's going to happen. And that Bernie Sanders is an important ingredient because he's the chairman of the Budget Committee on the Senate side. Well, that week, Bernie Sanders told viewers, as the budget chairman, I do things differently. I like to get out amongst the people when working on a budget bill. I said that means he wants to hear from you. And guess what? He started to tell viewers, or staff told viewers, starting 3 weeks ago, he's inserting a monthly stimulus check provision in the recon. In fact, he told viewers this channel the same thing in the last 24 hours. So he is still watching your back. I told viewers to pick up the phone and call Bernie Sanders at the time 3 weeks ago, and Brother Joshua did, Lynn Glenn did, and Gail did. Now let's go over what advocacy looks like. Advocacy is saying why I need it. My family needs it. My church needs it. My community needs it. And that's what the viewers of this channel have really stepped up well in the last few days. One Margaret tells me on social media she cried. Another Margaret, not this Margaret, also cried because the conversation was so deep. Honestly, I and the woman on the phone start crying when we explained everything I've been through. Then another woman saying, you know what? I had 10 surgeries since the passing. And how am I supposed to raise two teenage daughters with a hardship and them only on SSDI? It's not enough. And that's what Brother Joshua did. He's a 2020 volunteer to the community page, got people thousands of dollars for rent and utilities. He picked up the phone and advocated as a Purple Hawk for himself, for his community, for his family, and his church. To Senator Sanders' office. And Senator Sanders' office told Brother Joshua 3 weeks ago, yes, there would be a monthly stimulus check in there, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months, but needs to hear your support. Well, he has heard our support. And guess what? In the last 24 hours, viewers made the phone call again to Sanders, and again, Sanders' office confirmed that as well. But let's see what happened right after Brother Joshua's comments 3 weeks ago. Viewers started making the call, and let's read what happened when they made the call. Here are screen grabs of their messages and comments they have posted on this channel or in private message. Here is Donnie. He writes, I called Bernie Sanders, and his secretary said they're going to do a forced stimulus check. I said, this is what I need. My city needs it. I need it to progress, and I need it to, because of my water and everything. I told her, and she said, okay, they're doing a forced stimulus check. The advocacy continued. Let's look at some more screen grabs from viewers and what they wrote on this channel. Here is Hurricane Tina. She wrote that I called Bernie Sanders' office, and they did say they're putting in a fourth stimulus check. Let's look at this one. Lori Silver called Sanders' office. And there's Yaya. I spoke to another staffer from Wyden, and they said that they're doing SS200 as a promise. Let's look at this one. Carolyn Smith wrote, I called Bernie Sanders' office, and I talked to the secretary and told her what I need help, and people were losing their homes and what they got, and she said she agrees that Bernie is putting a fourth stimulus check in there. And then came Will. Will showed us you don't call one office, you call three offices. And Will writes in the following message, I called Bernie's office, Schumer's office, and Liz Warren's office, and all three secretaries confirmed stimulus check. As to Liz Warren, he says, they said Senator Warren is doing $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Lorica, with a bombshell, writes, I called Bob Casey's office, and he said, yeah, there are negotiations for the amount of stimulus check right now. By that point, we had countless Senate Democrats saying they're putting a monthly stimulus check provision in there. Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden, telling nearly 1,000 viewers of this channel they're putting it in there. But we still had to advocate over to the House side, and viewers started to advocate across the board. Here was Janice. She called over to Jalopal's office. She writes, I called Jalopal, and they did say they're doing a fourth stimulus check. We got the same thing from AOC. Then other people kept on calling. Mark, remember Mark, $51,000 Mark? Mark called Pelosi's office. And Pelosi's office, Mark writes that Pelosi's office staff told me that there would be a fourth stimulus check on the amount of $2,000 a month. The first month, $1,000 thereafter, and 6 to 12 months, and they're near finished negotiating for its inclusion. And there you go. By the end of last week, by Friday, from Friday last week all the way up to yesterday, AOC, Jalopal, Omar, and Sanders' office all confirmed to this viewership of this channel the same message. There will be a monthly stimulus check. It will be in there. In the future, will be in there. $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, and it will be 6 months. And that they're inserting it in there. All consistent, great news. What's important to understand is that this is very consistent with what Pelosi has talked about with this recon draft markup of the bill. She says it's not etched in stone. It's still being modified. You want to put stuff in there, put stuff in there. Now, what happened during that meeting yesterday during the middle of the day? Well, that meeting Tuesday, the conversation that Pelosi had to the progressives was, if you have something to put in here, put something in here. That's what Pelosi says she wants to put in stimulus checks. That's what AOC, Omar, and Jalopal want to do. They want to put stimulus checks in there. That's what Ron Wyden wants to do. He wants to put unemployment benefits in there. But the level of discussion among the progressives was, yeah, let's get it all in there and get it ready to vote on. And that was sort of the focus at that point. A lot of details. Now, let's go over to the debt ceiling limit for just a blink of an eye. The debt ceiling limit doesn't concern you whatsoever. In fact, it's much of a silliness that's going to get resolved in a blink of an eye, most people think. The debt ceiling limit is going to lapse Friday if they don't get it done. What is the debt ceiling limit? It concerns funding of existing legislation. Number one, your checks are arriving on time. So if you're on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, you're an employee of the federal government or active military personnel, you're going to get paid on time. You're going to be paid on time the week after that. It's only if it goes 2 months long that's an issue. It's very, very common every year that they miss it by a few days or about a week or 2 weeks. Number two, the debt ceiling limit does not have anything to do with the funding of your recon. Not at all. It's only for funding for existing law. Number three, does it impact the whole voting process? It is part of the discussion, and it's sort of helping. Why? It's helping because it's not West Side Story, 2 things. It's now 3 things. It's not roads and bridges versus recon. Now it's roads and bridges and recon and debt ceiling limit all at the same time that have to be discussed. And guess what? It's working our benefit for many reasons. Number one, the progressives are using a part of the sort of narrative as saying, you know what? You're focusing on the other 2 people. You're not focusing on me. You're focusing on the debt ceiling limit, and you're focusing on the roads and bridges. How about me? I'm over here. Do you see me? We see each other. That's what the progressives are doing, and it's working because they're saying, listen, I first had to deal with one person taking the attention away from me. Now I got to deal with two people taking the attention away from me. Start focusing on me. I see you. That's the first reason it's helping. Number one, the debt ceiling limit is so basic to do. It's very infantile. It's very simple to do. That if you can't, that doing that and bipartisan, which is also bipartisan, at the same time, just sort of makes simple sense. And it just sort of makes sense that if you can get simple things done, then you should be able to get the recon done. Finally, the news cycle is changing by the hour. It is literally changing by the hour. It is very important to understand that a lot of people don't know where things are going to land out for the next 48 hours. The next 40 hours is just very dramatic. Three bodies of law, three bodies of legislation, recon, bipartisan, and debt ceiling limit. No one knows where this is all going to pan out. Do I have an opinion of the situation? I do. It's very fascinating that people sometimes try to do the harder path in legislation when there's a simpler path to do things. And then when we're done, we're finished looking back, always like, why didn't they do this the simpler way? The simpler way for the debt ceiling limit would have been just to do something close to what the Republicans want to do, because what the Republicans propose is good. There's nothing bad about the Republicans' approach to the debt ceiling limit. It's fine. I mean, they give money for a lot of great things, and just like the Democrats do. So there was nothing bad about the Republicans' debt ceiling limit. The Democrats are going to look sort of silly that they're going to have to roll over and agree to what the Republicans propose for the debt ceiling limit when they should have just done that the first time. Number two. The goth gang may look sort of ridiculous. Those are the moderate House Democrats by saying infrastructure right now, go, 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 zoom, 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 do infrastructure right today, right, 20 seconds from now, go right now. And then the progressives come in and say, no, negative. What do you mean? Wait, you don't care about my road? No, it's like you don't care about me. The goth gang is going to look foolish if the progressives sort of come in and just vote it down. I mean, there was no rush to fix a bridge that's already been crumbling for 30 years. I don't understand this whole notion of rushing. Then Jalapal, who we always respect dearly and think is brilliant, she says there's no deadline for the roads and bridges on Thursday. There's a strange altered story out there that they have to do the roads and bridges by Thursday, or there's no money left for the roads and bridges. And it's just like, Jalapal says, no, you can fix this very quickly. There's this appropriations you can do. So I think that they're sort of making things a little bit more elaborate than they need to make them elaborate. And I think that's all working in our benefit, because the people sitting back during the recon are like, you know what? You're making silliness over there, and you're making silliness over here. The recon over here is so straightforward. Just finish it out. Now, do I have another opinion about the recon? Yeah, I do. Which is actually, I agree with Pelosi on this one. Pelosi is basically saying, if you have an opinion, you want to add something, give it to me. And you know how we always think on this channel. Give everything you got to do it, and do it on the front. So I love that Ron Wyden wants to extend unemployment benefits, but Ron, I mean, don't just bring it up in, late September, although you did bring it up a few months ago as well. If you want to include SS200 or unemployment benefit, do it now. I mean, get these things in here. And that's what Pelosi was basically saying Tuesday. You want us to do stuff, give it to me and put it in there and get it done. And then Pelosi will have no reason to say, progressives, the recon's not ready because you keep on adding stuff. If everyone just says, I've added everything I need to add, let's call for a vote, then we're ready to rock and roll. The situation is going to change by the hour, on the hour. So I appreciate you staying with me throughout the day. Coming up next is Morning's Countdown, 7 o'clock. Yesterday's Morning Countdown, the most watched show on this most watched countdown show on this channel. I think Morning's Countdown has become one of the biggest success stories of this channel of 2021. It is one of for a debut of a new time slot show. It has been a jaw-dropping show, so don't miss this. Coming up at 7 o'clock. Then 9 o'clock a.m. is Mornings LA. Remember, please do not miss Mornings LA because you watch Countdown, because Mornings LA literally delivers you live on air what happens at that time, and it's 9 a.m. so it's almost 12 it's noontime on the East Coast. A lot of things can happen with these legislators by noontime on the East Coast, especially on a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. This video will automatically take you there. Watch it. It's a big, important video about the financial markets as the markets imploded yesterday and are likely to not do well today as well. Subscribe. Also like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Join me on mornings on 9, mornings crypto at 10, and noontime at 11 a.m. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering, and I'll see you next on Overnight's Crypto.